Welcome into Candlestick Chronicles, a 49ers podcast on the Blue Wire Podcast Network. I'm Kyle Madson. I write about the 49ers over at NinersWire.com, part of the USA Today sports media group. As always, along with me is Cat's Deli most distinguished guest, Chris Biderman. I love your shirt. That shirt's so sick.
Thanks, dude. Thank you.
It's not as sick as the lamb chop shirts you wear, but of the non-lamb chop shirts that you wear, it's way up there. Speaking of lamb chops, they are the official clothing brand of Candlestick Chronicles. Shout out to our Timberwolves. Not yours, Chris. Just me and the guys at Lamb Chops. We love our Wolves. They are kicking ass right now in the NBA Western Conference semifinals. SGLambchops.com is the website. Candlestick 20 is the promo code for 20% off your order. They've got some stuff left from their winter line, which is very fire: sweatpants, t-shirts, hoodies, things of that nature. And then they have a spring line out right now. It's cargo pants. It's a mechanic's jacket, which is extremely sick. They've got a new t-shirt up. They've got a new hoodie up. It's all dope. It's all high quality. It's all very comfortable. You're going to love it. So head to sglambchops.com today and use promo code Candlestick20 for 20% off your order. Chris, would you like to make a mea culpa about your Nuggets over Wolves pick?
No, it's right on schedule. It's
everybody
no
knows.
for the onion. Yeah, well, we've seen this movie before, obviously. No, for the uninitiated, our buddies at Lamb Chops have been collaborating with the Minnesota Timberwolves, making some really cool gear for Timberwolves fans and anybody else who just likes really fire stuff. So exciting times for them. They our guy Craig went to Denver, watched game 2, had pretty good seats, it looked like, and so
nice little view.
They must be having a fun. They must be having a fun time in Denver and with the series going back to Minneapolis, obviously. So shout out to them. Shout out to Lamb Chops. I'm not wearing Lamb Chops right now because I basically wore it all weekend, and it's in the wash. We're recording this as of Tuesday, so we're doing a little bit of laundry, getting geared back up. But love our Lamb Chops. Love the sweat shorts. Really great during spring. The mesh shorts are going to be in heavy rotation once it starts getting hotter later this week. You can bet on that. And just around the house, hoodies, sweats, shirts, It's all great stuff. Check out sglambchops.com.
Candlestick 20 is the promo code. Get 20% off your order today. We are also sponsored by Prize Picks. Daily fantasy sports made easy. You go to prizepicks.com/candlestick. You use promo code Candlestick for a first deposit match up to $100. And then you create an entry with 2 to 6 players, and you pick more or less on their stat projections, and then you watch the winnings pile up. You can go cross sport. There are season-long projections. I do a lot of baseball mixed with basketball, especially during the NBA playoffs. They've got specials going all the time. One of my entries included, speaking of the Denver Nuggets, it was Nikola Jokic more than half a point. All I needed him to do was score 1 point. Which, while he hasn't scored a lot of points in this series so far, he got his 1 in that game. So it was nice. It's a good way to start your entry, and they do that kind of stuff all the time. So make sure to check out Prize Picks today. You don't have to worry about other players. You don't have to worry about injuries. You don't have to worry about resetting your lineup every week. You just create a new entry. You're not playing against sharp guys or bots or anything like that. It's just you and your entry and your picks on stat projections, more or less. So go to prizepicks.com.
Just going to say, you don't have to argue with your friends about whether you're doing a snake draft or an auction draft. You don't have to have a pitcher needing Tommy John surgery completely ruin your season, or during football, somebody tears an ACL in training camp after your draft. You're not totally screwed. You can play anytime you want. And it's a one-day thing, so you're not beholden to some player who might do you wrong at some point, whether it's injury or poor play or even good play, if you're taking the less than numbers. So we love Prize Picks. It's a lot of fun. It's a shorter term commitment than what we're used to, and it's putting the world of daily fantasy sports on its head, and we're loving it.
prizepicks.com/candlestick, promo code candlestick for a first deposit match up to $100. That is prizepicks.com/candlestick, promo code candlestick for a first deposit match up to $100. Okay, we are going to do something very, very important today with the 49ers draft class. And we're going to look at what numbers they've been assigned and determine their future success based on those numbers. It's very important draft analysis, and you need to tap in now. All right, man. I think, there's things we agree on in life. There's things we disagree on in life. It's part of being friends. You're not going to see eye to eye on everything. One of the things we do see eye to eye on, though, is one, just how goddamn comfortable some lamb chops, sweat shorts, and hoodies are. Two, is that numbers in football, like your jersey number, can have an impact or does have an impact on your future success. And so the 49ers 2024 draft class has been assigned numbers, and we're going to go through the draft class now and talk about their jersey numbers that they've been assigned. You can glean a lot.
gotta love May content. Right. There was some talk that the NFL schedule would come out this week. It looks like that's being pushed back another week. So we're gonna dive into the NFL schedule stuff when it comes out, and certainly look at, I think last year we did a draft of our favorite games, sort of Bill Simmons style, creating random things to draft and talk about.
Incredible.
But yeah, should we just draft the jersey numbers, the situations the guys are in? I mean, one of the interesting things about it is, a lot of these guys, the numbers that they have now, as of we're recording this Tuesday, May 7th, if and when they make the 53-man roster, their numbers could be different.
Yes.
Right? It happens a lot. Like Matt Breida wore 49 before switching to 22 when he made the team. Isaac Guerendo currently 49. I think that might bode well.
Elijah Mitchell also 49.
He was 49 before switching to 25. How dramatic of a number change is that, going from 49 to 25? Maybe the worst running back number you could possibly have to one of the best.
Yeah, same deal with Matt Breida. 22, excellent running back number. 25, excellent running back number. 49, terrible. You're either a fullback or a reserve linebacker at 49, dog.
Which, more credit to him. I'm a big look good, play good guy. It was important to me back when I played baseball that, I had the right cleats. I had the, if I was rocking the pant legs up, I had the stirrup situation was on point, or the sock situation was on point. If you have them down, you want to have them to the right length. Did you want any ankle socks showing when you're playing baseball or not? You got the wristband situation. There are all sorts of things, and you see it with football too. To overcome wearing 49 and then to perform really well, I think speaks to the character of some of these players. And we'll see if Isaac Guerendo can stack up and overcome number 49 to earning a roster spot, a la Matt Breida, a la Elijah Mitchell.
All right, so we'll dive in. We're going to go through the draft class by round. And these are the numbers reported by Matt Mayoko that the 49ers draft class has been assigned. We're going to leave the undrafted guys out of this discussion for now, because while they've been assigned numbers, the 49ers haven't officially announced those signings yet. So we're going to leave them out just for right now. First round pick, Ricky Pearsall, number 31 overall, has been given number 14. I don't love it. I don't love this for our guy, Rick.
Formerly worn by Sam Darnold, 49ers backup quarterback last
way better
season.
Quarterback number.
Agreed. Also worn by Jalen Hurd. I guess worn by Jalen Hurd might be a stretch. Assigned to Jalen Hurd, given to Jalen Hurd. Yeah. Jalen Hurd theoretically wore number 14 during his time with the 49ers.
Supposedly.
But no, so here's my thing, and we're kind of joking about this number discussion, but I think if we wanted to zoom out a little bit and talk about the 49ers receiving core, I kind of think Ricky Pearsall's more likely to wear say, number 10 or number 6 long term after training camp. And the obvious implication there is one of, if not both, of Danny Gray or Ronnie Bell might be on the wrong side of the roster crunch,
That's a good
opening
point.
up potentially a better number for Ricky Pearsall, assuming he thinks 6 or 10 is a better number for his career than 14. I don't know. Who's the best 14 in the league at receiver? Is it Stephon Diggs?
Does he wear 14? Then yes.
He did with Buffalo. I think he did with Minnesota too.
Then that's got to be it. I'm trying to
other than
see
that,
Ricky Pearsall in high school. Yeah, he wore number 12 in high school. That's also, he wore 19 at Arizona State. He wore number 1 with Florida. So I don't know if he has some attachment to number 14, but I'm with you, man. If one or both of Danny Gray and Ronnie Bell or Ronnie Bell are not on the team, I would ditch 14 immediately. And I think there's a really good chance that neither is on the roster come September.
Right. And I think if we're thinking about, jersey sales, I do think the number that you wear sort of matters pretty substantially when it comes to jersey sales.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have a trash number and expect to sell a lot of jerseys.
Right.
I think if he becomes a good player, like a Ricky Pearsall number 10 jersey would probably be higher selling.
That'd be so far
than a 14.
That'd be extremely dope. I'm totally with you.
Yeah.
But I also think that
this whole conversation is funny. Like, this is May NFL podcasting at its finest.
Yeah, as a receiver, if you're not in the 80s, I think you need to be between 15 and 19 or 11 and below. 12, 13, and 14 as a receiver don't do it for me. I can't tell you why.
I think 13 is... I do think... So I think 14 is a really good quarterback number. I don't think it's a great receiver number. I think 13 is both a good quarterback and receiver number.
Okay. That's fine. I think 12 is a bad receiver number.
Yeah, maybe because it's just so synonymous with quarterbacks.
Yeah. Damn you, Tom Brady.
Aaron Rodgers.
I think, and we'll get
Brody.
Yeah. We'll get to this in a bit. Just regarding like random numbers being assigned to players. That's something you see more with undrafted guys. Where I think with a player like Ricky Pearsall, it's kind of like, hey, get whatever number you think you're gonna wear. And maybe he has his eye on a player that may or may not wind up making the team. But I'd be a little bit surprised if he rolls into the year with 14.
All right, so here's a question for you. If you're Ricky Pearsall, would you rather have 14 or 84?
84.
I feel like we might be on the cusp of like a hipster movement among like receivers because it's been so popular to like wear a number in the teens and even go single digits that maybe some guys start going back to the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
As like a cool thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of like a retro type of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I would love that. Because while I do enjoy the single digit and the teen numbers on jerseys, the 80s with a receiver, like we'll talk about Jacob Cowing in a bit, but the 80s on a receiver all play for me. Like there's not a bad wide receiver number in the 80s.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I have rankings of which numbers are the best. Like 86 is the worst of the 80s, but you can wear 80 a big
86 you're a 4-string tight end and or long snapper.
Right. All right, let's get to Renardo Green, their second round pick, a cornerback out of Florida State. He is wearing number 31, last worn by the great Tayshaun Gibson. They are just already handing out Gibbs jersey like that. Shocking. 31 is just okay as a cornerback number. I don't hate it, but I also don't like it very much. He's a player that I think is going to wait and see which corners get let go and then take one of their numbers once they're gone. Like if Ambry Thomas gets cut, which I think he might, I think you'll see Renardo Green wearing number 20, etc.
Yeah, I think something like that would make sense. I think it might be a scenario where a guy wears kind of a mid number, mid as in quality, not mid as in like numerical, like a
Sure.
mid number his rookie season before switching to a better number, maybe his second season once
Yeah,
he
I can see that.
establishes himself. Like
Mm-hmm.
Fred Warner famously wearing 48, which is just a super not awesome linebacker number before becoming entrenched as a starter and then moving to a super elite linebacker number at 54.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Maybe there's something like that happens with Green to where he starts his career at 31 and then maybe moves into single digits. Maybe they don't bring back Diamador Lenore, Charvarius Ward opening up 2 and 7 potentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Maybe there's a number in the 20s like you mentioned, but no, I'm fine with 31. I feel like corners who wear 31 are typically, or like numbers in the 30s are typically like tough, like physical guys based on
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. It's just kind of a
No, it's a
feeling I
vibe.
have in,
That's what this entire
in my brain.
conversation is.
So like I think 31 fits, but it wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't his long-term number with the Niners.
Okay, so let's go through this. Let's go through the corners with numbers in the 20s who
Mm-hmm.
may or may not make the roster. Ambry Thomas wearing number 20 could definitely be
That's
gone.
yeah, coin toss. Coin
Bro,
toss.
he's in year 4 or he's going into year 4. He's not been able to hold down a starting spot. I think Ambry Thomas roster spot in jeopardy. Isaac Yiadom
Yeah.
wearing number 22. Free agent addition this offseason.
Yeah, I mean another coin toss. It feels like everybody behind like Green's making the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Feels like everyone behind whether or not he starts is TBD,
Mm-hmm.
but like Charvarius Ward, Diamador Lenore, Renardo Green really feel like the
That's it.
only sure things.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the rest of the cornerback group and it's like Ambry Thomas can make it, Darrell Luter can make it, Rocky Sin can make it, um, Isaac Yiadom can make it, Sam
Rocky
Womack
Sin
wearing
wearing number
0.
33. Yuck.
I kind of like 33 as a cornerback number.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big Rocky Sin guy going into that draft.
Okay.
So
He's been just
I
an
guess
okay player.
yeah, but I mean, so it's okay to have
Chase,
okay players as backups.
Chase Lucas wearing number 26. Darrell Luter, you mentioned, wearing number 28. The other two that fit into this conversation are Elijah Mitchell and Jordan Mason. Mason wearing number
Running backs,
24,
interesting.
Mitchell wearing number 25. I don't think it's a slam dunk that they're both on the team.
I would be stunned. I don't know if "stun's" the word. I would be very surprised if Elijah Mitchell didn't make the team.
No, I'm with
Very
you. Like
surprised.
they obviously like Elijah Mitchell and they trust him, but they just traded 2 fifth-round picks to get up into the 4th round to take Isaac Guerrero. And if Mitchell has injury stuff in camp or in the preseason this year, I could see them not wanting to deal with having him on the roster, needing to roster an extra running back because he may or may not be available. And then Jordan Mason, to that point, has not been able to crack regular offensive snaps. And I get it partly because of Christian McCaffrey, but there's clearly work there because Elijah Mitchell has gotten it when he's been healthy. And Jordan Mason has just not been able to break through on that side of the ball, which is why I don't think that it's necessarily a slam dunk that they both make the team.
24 and 25 are a couple elite numbers that could be opening up. To your point,
Yeah. I don't think they'd both
which
not make
is
it,
fair.
but I think one of those two players will wind up not making the team. That's my prediction.
That's fair. To your point about Guerrero and them trading up to get him, didn't they trade up to get Ty Davis Price?
Yes. They traded 2/4 to get Davis Price, I believe.
So I don't think trading up necessarily means much, particularly at running back. Like maybe they like the guy, but I think we were talking about this a little bit before or offline, that once the draft happens, the Niners typically like don't really care. There isn't a whole lot of roster
No,
politics.
I'm sorry. It was Trey Sermon who they traded up for.
Trey Sermon. Okay,
Yeah.
point stands.
Yes. Yeah.
Very similar situation.
Same guy. Same thing.
Did they trade up for Joe Williams too, or did they just sit back and take him?
Oh boy, that is
well.
that
Point being, investment in running back does not necessarily mean that incumbents are suddenly in danger of losing their spot.
Sure. I'm looking now. The 49ers traded a 4th and 5th to move up in the 4th round to draft Joe Williams. Yikes. Isaac Arendo, we hardly knew ye. Yeah, I wouldn't be. I'd be not floored, but I'd be pretty shocked if Renardo Green goes into the season wearing number 31. There's just too many players on the roster bubble with numbers in the 20s that are way better cornerback numbers that he could go get. He wore number 8 in college, which is obviously off the table. But I think there's better cornerback numbers than 31.
So this is decidedly a pro Samuel Womack podcast.
Yes, a lot of property on Samuel Womack Island.
I do feel like his spot is definitely in peril. And I do feel like Renardo Green wearing 0 might be pretty tough.
That'd be fire. I would like that. I'd be in on that.
He feels like a number 0. Like you have to have if you rock 0 in any sport, you have like sort of an edge to you. There's something unique about you or your personality. Like I feel like not just anybody can just wear 0. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of thinking about like Malik Monk with the Kings, different sport obviously, but like definitely a unique personality. Russell Westbrook, Dame Lillard, a little bit different, but kind of there's just a uniqueness about you if you're willing to rock 0. And I feel like Renardo Green could rock 0.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And frankly, I think Samuel Womack can too. I think he's that type of player. I just don't know if he's going to crack the 49ers roster.
What about the draft? People, like I think with this draft class, and maybe it's just this is kind of a recency bias thing, but it does feel like the 49ers added depth and competition at spots that needed it, to where like, we're talking about Danny Gray and Ronnie Bell, like really needing to earn their roster spots in ways where, and even like guys like Sammy Womack and, the running back discussion, it's like the Niners added to those spots to where you're improving your depth through competition.
Yes.
Instead of like being unclear about like, do you trust this guy to be on the field?
Right. I wonder with number 0 specifically. Yeah, I got a little bit of news from Adam Schefter here. Wednesday, May 15th, the NFL schedule will be released. So a week from
tomorrow,
when this is released in podcast form. All right. So I do last thing on this. I do wonder if Samuel Womack does wind up not making the team, if there would be like a rush for the number 0.
I think it's one of those like that's like high in demand.
Yeah.
Ricky Pearsall rock number 0?
No chance. I don't think a receiver can wear 0. Oh no, that's not right. A receiver, I think,
like by rule?
No, I definitely think a receiver's wearing 0.
I think a receiver could wear 0.
I don't know. Anyways, no, I'm out. I'm out on 0 as a receiver number. Malik Mustafa.
What's his name? Okay, go ahead.
No, didn't
DeAndre Swift wear 0?
Somebody like that. Yeah. Maybe.
With the Eagles.
Calvin Ridley might have worn 0 last year with the Jags. Maybe. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I skipped a pick. Dominic Pooney, 49ers 3rd round pick, offensive lineman, wearing number 77. Really strong. Really good offensive line number for me. I love it for him. I like it even more if he's going to play tackle. Numbers. Yeah. I agree.
Yes, it's kind of slimming, right?
Yeah. And it's just the repetitive. I'm a fan of the repetitive offensive line number. 77, 66, 55. Those are all very good offensive line numbers. And 77, there's just a strength to it. There's a width and a height to it. I don't know. I think it's a better honestly though, I think it's a better tackle number than a guard number.
That's fair. I mean, Mike Upati might have something to say about that, but
He was okay.
I don't disagree with the sentiment. So best offensive line numbers. There's a certain sense of humor, obviously, with 69.
Of course.
77 elite. I think 62 is an elite number. I think most numbers that end in 2 are solid football numbers.
That's a good point.
22, 32, 42, obviously 52, 62. I think 62 is a really solid offensive line number, particularly if you're an interior guy. I do kind of agree with you that like 60s feels more of like an interior guy number and 70s feels more like a tackle number.
Yeah. Except for 70 on the dot, which is an interior number for sure.
Not a good. I would say 70 is one of the worst offensive line numbers.
Couldn't agree more.
78 and 79, both kind of tough.
Yeah.
You don't see a ton of like elite players wearing 78 or 79.
Yeah.
75 is okay.
75
73. 73 is pretty meh. 63. 63, you're definitely at the back end of the depth chart.
Sure.
You're not.
And if you're wearing, by the way, real quick, if you're wearing any of these numbers on the defensive line, start packing your bags, bud. Don't buy a house. Like,
yeah, enjoy the practice squad.
You're not long for this club. Yeah, so Dominic Pooney wearing number 77. I love that for him. And just while we're here, you mentioned 62. That's what Jarrett Kingston, their 6th round pick from USC, is going to wear. He played every position but center in college, but it looks like he's going to be an interior guy. As a pro, probably a practice squatter, but 62, he got assigned a very good number.
I think unrelated, but wasn't a big 71 guy. And Trent Williams, maybe it's just Trent Williams. Like Trent Williams could probably rock any number.
Sure.
And it would work. But 71, I think he's kind of put his stamp on.
Yeah, 71
some guys some guys take a sort of unconventional number and sort of make it their own. I think Trent's kind of done that with 71.
Yeah, definitely. I'm right there with you on that one. 4th round pick, first of 3 4th round picks. Safety Malik Mustafa is going to wear number 43. I hope he doesn't change it. This is such a great safety number.
I think this is the one we might disagree on.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I got just like Antonio Langham vibes. Like maybe
I got Troy Polamalu vibes, dog.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely fair. Don't think it's like aesthetically, it's not like the most pleasing number. I would say. I think he plays like somebody in the 40s, like kind of like earlier when we were talking about cornerbacks with physicality, how it makes sense when they have a number in the 30s. Like I do get the 43. I just don't think it's aesthetically like a super pleasing number. Like it wouldn't surprise me at all if he ended up with 24 or 25, if one of those guys got cut, and I'll be like, okay, that works. That definitely works. Or maybe he's maybe he's somebody who rocks 0. That could be interesting.
Would they give it to a rookie though?
I'm not sure. Hey, speaking of this, have we even talked about Deebo Samuel switching from 19 to 1?
We have not. I'm kind of in.
What's your take on it?
I'm kind of in. I know.
I'm in.
I don't love the regression from 19 solutions to 1 solution. I prefer to have more solutions. But I guess if you're gonna have fewer problems, then that's also good too. But yeah, no, I think I like it. It feels like and I think I partly feel this way because I think it's Deebo's last year with the 49ers, as we've talked about on this podcast a million times. But I like it as a kind of, hey, this is it, last ride. going to go back to the college number. I think it portends a big year for Debo.
See, to me, it's got the feel of doing too much.
Interesting. See, the thing is,
I know he's got like a tattoo with like, he's got a 19 tattoo. He was 19 problems on all his handles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's not broke kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like Trent Taylor wearing 19 is going to be real weird.
Yeah, I don't like it. Trent Taylor should have gotten 15 back from Juwan Jennings. And then Juwan Jennings could have just gotten it back when Trent Taylor gets cut. Just for my comfort. No,
Sure.
I think he wanted to do this a couple years ago, but it costs like a lot of money to do that if you don't do it in X amount of advance. So I think he probably made this decision a couple seasons ago. And it's kind of just now at the point that he can make that change. I'm for it. I like it. And maybe Ricky Pearsall grabs 19.
Yeah. I wanted to make sure I was right on this, but Debo had has, after he got drafted, he got a big back tattoo that was 19. So he's got like 19 tatted on his back.
Oh, that's tough.
And now he's switched numbers. So, I mean, look, he's his own man. He can do whatever he wants, for sure. It's not a criticism. It's just, if it's not broke, don't fix it, in my opinion. Like, and maybe I'm biased because I have a couple friends with Debo jerseys who are like a little bit annoyed. Not like super annoyed, but like, when you're just like kind of inconvenienced and you'd prefer it didn't happen, but it's not going to ruin your week. Like,
sure,
that level of annoyed that Debo Samuel changes number.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm fine with it. I think I'm okay with it.
I mean, it's gonna be a good look for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's gonna look super sick. Malik Mustafa, fine at 43. I think he keeps it.
Okay.
Or maybe there's going to be some pressure from the 49ers defensive backs room to get a single digit. I don't know. Next pick is Isaac Garendo, who we talked about a little bit at the top of the pod, wearing number 49. Definitely not a number he's going to be stuck with. But history says if you're wearing 49 in camp, that typically foreshadows good things. Shout out to Matt Breida. Shout out to Elijah Mitchell. So Isaac Garendo, going to make the roster and have an impact?
Maybe, we'll see.
Something's got to give here, right?
Something's got to give.
Preseason 49 thing works, and the 49ers finally traded up for a running back that worked out for them, or the 49 thing doesn't work, and they traded up for another running back who doesn't work out for them. Yikes.
I think the fit makes sense, but he's certainly the draft pick that comes with the most question marks. Like like, I feel pretty comfortable that Pearsall is going to be good. I feel pretty comfortable saying Renardo Green's going to be good. I think Mustafa's going to be good. I like the Pooney pick.
Mm-hmm.
The Garendo one feels like the biggest boomer bust.
Like, bro, at this point, I don't remember if we talked about this on draft night or not. But at this point, if you're trading up for a running back and it doesn't work again, I'm dead serious. Somebody needs to be fired if they do it another time. No, it's insane. They're 0 for 2. The last 2 running backs they've drafted in the 3rd round have been non-factors entirely. Trey Sermon gone after 1 year. Ty Davis Price gone in the middle of his 2nd year. They traded up for Joe Williams, who never played a regular season snap. Like, this is a joke. And then you've got Matt Breida, who had a ton of success as an undrafted guy. Raheem Mostert was undrafted and a journeyman before coming to San Francisco. I think he came here in 2016 with Chip Kelly and then stuck around. Elijah Mitchell was a 6th round pick. Jeff Wilson undrafted. Like, this is, dude, but they have Christian McCaffrey still, who's going to take a lion's share of the snaps. So you traded up to draft this guy who may or may not play and then also may or may not be any good at football. It just, man, the more I talk about this, the more I hate the pick.
So I agree that they definitely deserve their share of criticism for missing on these running backs that they've seemed to prioritize in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
But the other side of the coin is that they deserve credit for hitting on dudes that they get later. So it's the same group of guys, it's the same people making these decisions. So like if you want to fire them for missing on Joe Williams and Ty Davis Price and Trey Sermon, I get it, but you're also firing the same people who found Elijah Mitchell, Matt Breida, and those guys.
No, I want to fire. No, because I think it's Kyle Shanahan. I think Kyle Shanahan is the guy who's like, I need this running back in my running back room now. They need to fire whoever it is who's responsible for being like, Kyle, nah. That's all. The Kyle Nah guy needs to be fired.
So Bobby Turner is, regarded as one of the best running back coaches, if not the best running back coach in the league, and as somebody who's been around since
holding his feet to the fire.
Since the NFL, since like the 20s or whenever. Like, I don't know that you're firing Bobby Turner over some of this stuff. Maybe there's a personnel guy. I don't know. Like Bobby Turner is the one.
I'm tongue in cheek on somebody needs to be fired.
Right, I got you.
It's just
maybe this is a Frank Gore pick.
If this doesn't work,
in the front office,
then fire him. If this if this doesn't, but let's removing the hyperbole. If Isaac Guerendo goes the way of Trey Sermon and Joe Williams and Ty Davis Price, like they cannot possibly draft another running back early. And they can't possibly trade up for one ever again under the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch regime. They can't. Like 0 for 4? That's so hard to do at running back.
Sure. They did invest a ton of picks in Christian McCaffrey.
Which, goes to show that actually they are good at investing in running back.
I don't know. It's such a mixed bag that I guess you can maybe punt on the idea. Like maybe it's just like only sign undrafted free agent running backs or trade for established stars, or like I could see Kyle Shanahan taking like 1 year, say the Niners are picking 26th.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, you know what? I'm just going to take the best running back in the draft who might be I could see him doing that. I asked him that question one time, sort of about it was a couple years ago when there was a big discussion of, do running backs matter and all that stuff. And Shanahan absolutely said, and I don't know if he was being 100% truthful, but he gave a good answer about you could absolutely justify drafting a running back with a first round pick because of how important they are to the offense. And, Christian McCaffrey kind of proves that. This was long before the Niners traded for Christian McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this weird juxtaposition in that the 49ers have had varying success with running backs, throughout their acquisition processes. And they still remain one of the best rushing teams in the NFL. The Christian McCaffrey pick had potential to be a disaster, but it's been far and away a home run.
The trade.
Yeah, the trade, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And they've whiffed on dudes drafted in the 3rd and 4th rounds, and they've been great at 6th, 7th round undrafted guys. So it's just a mixed bag. But I do agree, all right, if Guerendo doesn't work out, maybe we just kind of abandon this process of using a 3rd or 4th round pick on a running or trading up for one.
Yeah. It's or whatever process that leads you to pick undrafted guys or sign undrafted guys or pick Elijah Mitchell late. Maybe that's what they did with Guerendo. Maybe they use the same process and they're like, hey, he's not going to make it to the 6th round. We need him now. And it ends up working out. But again, there's a question of role, right? Because if Christian McCaffrey comes out and is just offensive player of the year candidate again this year, they're probably going to extend him. And now you're 2-3 more years of Christian McCaffrey as Isaac Orendo is just a reserve who's getting 12 snaps a game. I don't know. The investment was weird. Unless they're not planning on Christian McCaffrey being around for the long term, which might be.
I'm very much looking forward to the hypothetical Jed York press conference a day after firing Kyle Shanahan on Black Monday. Call it Black Tuesday. He gets a question, Jed, why move on from Kyle? He's been one of the most successful coaches in the league. I know he hasn't won a Super Bowl, but been to a bunch of NFC Championship games.
Mm-hmm.
Highly regarded as maybe the best offensive coach of a generation. Has a bunch of assistants that he's groomed that have become head coaches. Why fire Kyle Shanahan? And then Jed York says, all these running backs in the 3rd and 4th round, we missed on all of them. I'm sick of this shit. Kyle had to go.
Drafting running backs with class. We don't.
No more questions.
We don't.
Jed knocks the microphone over, bounces off the stage,
mushes Larry Krueger in the face as he walks out.
Makes Nick Sorensen head coach. We got our guy.
Kicks Barrows in the shins. All right. Last couple here. Where are we at? 4th round. Jacob Cowing, number 83. Love this for him, and I love the upside. The more I hear smart people talk about Jacob Cowing, the more I think he's going to be a really good player for the 49ers.
So one thing I don't know yet for sure, and I haven't taken the full dive, is just how much what the impact of the new kickoff rules are going to be and how important your kick return guys are going to be. Because that kind of feels like where Cowing is going to be a dude here. I don't love 83.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't do a whole lot for me. If in terms of if I'm ranking numbers in the 80s, 83 is closer to 86 than what's a really good 84 or 80. I think 84 and 80 are comfortably the two best 80s numbers.
Okay.
Obviously 80 is often for the Niners, but 83 is fine. It's not great, it's not terrible. Doesn't do a whole lot for me. I don't foresee a whole lot of 83 Jacob Cowing numbers or jerseys getting sold.
Better wide receiver number, 14 or 83?
Wow, you're just really holding my feet to the fire here, aren't you?
Come on, dude. You know the answer.
I guess I'll go 83. I'll go 83. Okay. Shout out
Ted
to Wes
Hendricks,
Welker.
Andre Reed, Wes Welker, Mark Clayton, Vincent Jackson, RIP. A lot of good players wore. Heath Miller wore 83. You're in tight end, but JJ Stokes, Deion Branch, Terry Glenn, Harry Douglas, Willie Snead.
See, you're kind of you're kind of diving into a bunch of role players. I think,
right.
I think maxed out 83 is kind of you're a good role player. Not a ton of superstar 83s.
Okay. Yeah, I think just because of the trend, I don't think we're at the point yet that you brought up earlier where we're gonna maybe see receivers start going more into the 80s to go with a throwback look while everybody else is, going 19 and below.
To be retro.
Yeah. I think Cowing is gonna wind up with something other than 83, assuming he makes the team.
He to me feels like another 10 or 6 candidate.
Yeah.
Or
especially
19.
Yeah.
Maybe 19 will be off limits this year because they'll just be a little too awkward.
Or maybe you can confuse other teams who are so used to seeing Debo in 19. You send 19 in motion, freak everybody out. This is smart. This is good stuff.
What on earth is happening?
Some pretty heady stuff that we're getting into now. Last one. Tatum Bethune. linebacker, 7th round pick, wearing number 48. That's got practice squad
It's
vibes.
not.
That's got big practice squad vibes for me.
Yeah, practice squad, special teamers. Shout out to Demetrius Flanagan Fowles, number 45. Feels
Yep.
like he's been wearing 45 for a decade now
No,
as a
I
backup
will never
linebacker.
see another player in a 49ers uniform wearing number 45 and think of anything other than DFF.
Right, same.
But a lot of good. Jalen Graham, second-year player from Purdue, has 50. D. Winters, second-year player from TCU, has 53. 52, obviously, off limits. Robert Beal, defensive end, wearing 51. Don't know how I feel about that. Fred Warner wearing 54. John Feliciano has 55. So, like, all the 50s, all the good linebacker numbers are taken. I think if 48 is there, I think that's a good non-50s linebacker number.
Yeah, it's probably the best 40s number you could have as a linebacker, I would say. Maybe 44, actually. I kind of like 44 for linebacker. Obviously, Kyle Juszczyk's not giving that one up, but
Right. Yeah, 48's fine. 48's fine for a player who's, like I said, probably destined for the practice squad.
I don't know how the hell we've got to 45 minutes on this conversation, but I do have another numbers related conversation maybe we can have.
Please.
Is it weird to you that 52 has been completely off limits, but 53 they've just kind of given out like whatever to whomever?
Same with 74.
That's another surprising one. Like
Insane.
Joe Staley retires and then they just give 74 to Spencer Burford. Like Staley has no legacy with the team. I thought that was a little strange.
Yeah,
I know
kinda
Navarro Bowman, maybe it was a little messy at the end. Maybe that's why.
But also
nobody has even sniffed 52.
Yeah, and 21.
And 21. Rightfully so.
But it feels to me the Niners, here's two things. One, the Niners have a ton of retired numbers. They have so many. 8, 12, 16, 34, 37, 39, 42, 70, 73, 79, 80, and 87. That is a lot of numbers in the rafters. So, to me, if Joe Staley's number is being given out, which is wild, if Joe Staley's number is being given out, if T.O.'s number is being given out, if 81 is going to be given out, then Navarro Bowman's number can be given out. I thought Staley was on the same level as Willis and Gore in terms of franchise legacy, and they'd have their numbers either de facto or officially retired. But I don't know what the team's thought process is there. But it's not that much of a shock that 53 has been given out. I feel like Bo, as good as he was, is like a tier below Patrick Willis in terms of like legacy with the team.
This is probably a hot take that not many people would agree with, but I think the best season either of those linebackers had with the Niners was Bowman in 2013. I think Bowman had the best single season.
Willis was really good.
Like Patrick Willis was, yeah, well, he was. Bowman, to me, I don't know. Maybe that's because like I was just watching a little bit more closely because I was covering the team then.
Mm-hmm.
But Bowman, to me, in 2013, I thought he should have won Defensive Player of the Year over Luke Kuechly.
Yeah, and he didn't even get votes.
Really surprising.
Right?
And I think he might have got a couple, but yeah, he should have gotten it. I think Kuechly just had like all the crazy tackle numbers, which is like whatever, fine. Who cares about tackle numbers?
Right.
But Bowman in 2013, just like the playmaking, Willis was always like the dude flying around who's going to like hit everybody. But Bowman was like, felt like a playmaking linebacker in terms of like getting turnovers and interceptions and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So again, I'm hands up that I'm sure that's an unpopular opinion, but I thought the best season had by either of those two guys was Bowman in 13.
I'm going to consult Pro Football Focus here.
Okay.
According to PFF, and these are all mostly cerulean colors. 2009 was Patrick Willis's best year with a 91.9 overall grade. Navarro Bowman's best year according to Pro Football Focus. Navarro Bowman's best year was 2013, the one you mentioned, at a 90.6. How's
Okay,
that feel?
so it's
How's that
close.
feel to be wrong?
Just-
You
my heart
asshole.
feels stomped on.
No, I don't.
I clearly don't know anything.
No, it just, when you go look at what Patrick Willis did over the course of his 8 years, it's just like first team All Pro, Pro Bowl,
Dude,
defensive
yeah,
rookie.
for sure.
Like
I'm not saying Bowman had a better career.
Mhm.
I'm just saying
Peak
like
Bowman was
Willis
better than
peaked
peak
for
Willis.
Bowman in 2013 was the best peak of either of them, but Willis's peak lasted a hell of a lot longer and he was more consistent.
That's
And
fair.
obviously he didn't tear his Achilles like
And
Bowman did,
ACL and
and ACL, yeah.
yeah. No.
Um,
What I would be interested to see if we just, half joking, but like Patrick Willis in that 09 season, if he was really that, like if you picked him up and dropped him onto the 2012 49ers, or the 2013 49ers, because that 2019 was ass. Does he stand
yeah,
out
that's
in the
true.
way that Bowman did in 13? I have no
That's
way
true.
I have no way of knowing.
Because that 2013 defense was super nasty and
Yeah.
yeah, much better than the 29 defense. So maybe the supporting cast was a big reason why
Maybe.
Bowman was better. Yeah. The point is not that I think Bowman had a better career than Willis. Willis absolutely had the better career. I just think in terms of like at their absolute peak, I thought Bowman in 13 was like, damn, but Willis sustained it for a hell of a lot longer. And it's to your point, it's very arguable that it wasn't like clear cut that Bowman was better than Willis at that point. It was just, to me, it was like, damn, that was an incredible season.
Yeah. Yeah, he was really, really good. Yeah, I'd be interested to ask somebody in charge, I guess it'd be Jed York, what the plan is
Jed
with retired
York
numbers, because they have so freaking many in the rafters already.
There's also an element of just like the equipment guys just kind of giving out numbers. Like it's not really given that much thought. It's kind of like the equipment guys just like, hey, this is available. Here you go.
I love the idea that there's an equipment guy down there who just is protecting the legacies of Patrick Willis and Frank Gore with his life. Player's like, hey, can I get 21? He's like, absolutely not. You get 49, asshole. Get out of here, Isaac.
I do think there's probably a mandate coming down from ownership about 21 and 52.
I'd be fascinated to know, and then we can go. This has gone on way too long. I'd be fascinated to know, though, if Christian McCaffrey walked in and went, I want 21 or I'm out of here. I will not be signing any kind of extension. You've got me through this contract and I'm gone, unless I can wear number 21. I think Frank Gore would allow that.
I think Jed would ultimately defer to Frank and say, all right, Christian, you're good enough to where I will allow you to have this conversation with Frank. And if Frank wants to give it to you, then it's yours. I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised that CMC stuck with 23.
Why?
I just thought maybe he'd go back to 5. His college number.
Yeah, maybe.
After Trey Lance got dealt.
Yeah, but again, then that costs money, and he's probably like, nah, people already got their 23 jerseys.
Yeah, he's
I'll score touchdowns in any,
got a wedding.
any number.
He's got a wedding to pay for.
I love the idea of McCaffrey being like, I want 21, and they're like, okay, talk to Frank and you can do that. And then like D Winters going, I want 52 or I'm out of here. Somewhere
like, yeah,
Demetrius Flanagan fouls
on the way out.
Demetrius Flanagan fouls. I need 52 now. All right. This was fun. Thanks for hanging out and obliging my ridiculous content ideas.
We did 54 minutes on jersey numbers, but we were able to expound a little bit on, like roster discussions.
We did Fred Warner minutes on jersey numbers. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your pods. Check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/@Candlestick Chronicles podcast, or just search Candlestick Chronicles on YouTube and you will find us there. Subscribe, hit the little notification bell, and you'll be notified when we go live, which we do roughly once a week during the off season, but a couple times a week during the regular season. So stay tapped in. We'll have some fun over the off season as we get you ramped up for OTAs and training camp and all that jazz. So tap in wherever you get your podcast, tap in on YouTube. We appreciate you all immensely. We will talk to you next time.
See ya.
Bye.